Guys, I know they've been trying to come after our guns and our constitutional right to keep and bear arms, but I never really thought we would see the day where a governor actually tried to take away that right, even if it's just for a 30-day ban. But we got the New Mexico governor over here who decided it was a good idea to put a 30-day ban on being able to open carry or conceal carry guns. And as long as if you're off private property, she's saying it is illegal in the state of New Mexico. And she's calling it a public health emergency, which is even crazier. That is absolutely nuts. So we're really going to get into it, guys, because I never really thought we'd see this day. So we got all the receipts. I got the video show of her talking about what's going on here and why she's doing it. And then we even got a couple articles showing how stupid it is for her to even do this. It's very emotional with what she's doing. And I mean, I understand the emotions. I mean, I wouldn't want kids dying because of guns or anything like that either. But taking away freedoms of your entire state for a handful of deaths is actually very, very crazy. And I'm really glad to hear that the residents of New Mexico are standing up against this really an authoritarian edict. All right, so we're gonna get into it, guys. But welcome to Get Into the Facts. We're gonna start the week off right here. All right, so make sure we smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we're gonna get right into it, guys. But we got this here from ABC News. New Mexico governor's temporary ban on carrying guns in public meets resistance. Emergency orders issued by New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham suspending the right to carry firearms in public in and around Albuquerque are getting pushback from gun rights groups and some law enforcement officials and elected leaders, citing the recent shooting deaths of 3 children, including an 11-year-old boy gunned down outside a minor league baseball park last week. Grisham issued a 30-day ban on open and concealed carrying of firearms in her state's largest city and surrounding areas in Bernalillo County. The decree came a day after Lujan Grisham declared gun violence a statewide public health emergency, saying the rate of gun deaths in New Mexico increased 43% from 2009 to 2018. And just real quick, guys, okay? That seems like a big number. And this is what I hate when they do this. They're like, it increased 43%? Oh my gosh, 43%. That means it must be just absolutely crazy. This must be an epidemic. Guys, we're gonna really get into the weeds of this, all right? Because I'm telling you, there's just because it increased by 43% doesn't mean that it's a big number, all right? But let's keep reading here. Citing the I already did that. When New Mexicans are afraid to be in crowds, to take their kids to school, to leave a baseball game, when their very right to exist is threatened by the prospect of violence at every turn, something is very wrong, Lujan Grisham, a Democrat, said in a statement. Following the governor's order issued Friday suspending the open and concealed carrying of firearms in public in Albuquerque and neighboring jurisdictions by anyone other than law enforcement and licensed security officers, a gun rights group took legal action. The National Association for Gun Rights and one of its members who lives in Albuquerque filed a lawsuit asking the court to block the implementation of Lujan Grisham's gun carry ban, arguing it's a violation of the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. It absolutely is. The carry prohibition infringes the rights of the people, including plaintiffs, to keep and bear arms as protected by the Second Amendment. There are significant penalties for violations of the law, the gun rights group argued in court documents. Lujan Grisham said the temporary gun ban would be enforced by the state police and violators would be subject to a fine of up to $5,000. Holy crap. Gun violence is an epidemic in America, and I'm done letting it be an epidemic anywhere in my state. Enough is enough. Prior to issuing the executive order, Lujan Grisham said she consulted with the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security, the State Department of Public Health, and the State Department of Public Safety. 2 Republican state representatives, John Block and Stephanie Lord, are calling for the governor to be impeached over the orders. This is an abhorrent attempt to impose a radical progressive agenda on an unwilling populace, Lord said in a joint statement with Block. Rather than addressing crime at its core, Governor Grisham is restricting the rights of law-abiding gun owners. That's exactly what she's doing. Lord added, I have a newsflash for the governor. The Second Amendment is an absolute right, and so is my authority to impeach you for violating your oath to New Mexico and the United States. And then Albuquerque Police Chief Harold Medina noted in a statement that it will be up to the state police to enforce the order, not APD. Our officers at APD will continue to focus on the enforcement of criminal laws and arresting the criminals who are driving violent crime in the city, Medina said. Thank you. We have arrested over 200 murder suspects in the last 2 years, and field officers are making dozens of felony arrests every day. Everyone is stepping up to keep Albuquerque residents safe from the influx of guns and illegal drugs. Bernalillo County Sheriff John Allen also issued a statement on Sunday saying Lujan Grisham's order raises challenging constitutional issues. While I understand and appreciate the urgency, the temporary ban challenges the foundation of our Constitution, which I swore an oath to uphold, Allen said. I am wary of placing my deputies in positions that could lead to civil liability conflicts, as well as the potential risks posed by the prohibiting law-abiding citizens from their constitutional right to self-defense. The Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office will not enforce the concealed carry and open carry ban, Allen said at a press conference. You know, and honestly, guys, that's really good. I'm glad that the sheriff for that county came up and said that, because this is why it's so important to pay attention who you're electing to be the governor of your state. Because if you end up with some authoritarian person that's gonna go after the freedoms, the freedoms that every individual citizen has in this country, it's just we're really heading down towards like the path of China at this point. Our political people that are in office, they don't even care about doing what's best for the people anymore. This is all about power. It's all about power and controlling it. Because, guys, I don't know about you, but these people that are shooting, okay, and there's 11-year-old dying and kids are dying, all this stuff. What do you think a gun ban is going to do? Nothing. Because I don't know about you, but I don't know any criminal who's going against the law, shooting people, okay, which is obviously a felony. I don't know any one of them that is actually going to stop carrying a gun. All this is going to do is stop citizens from protecting themselves. That's all this does. When it comes to gun bans and banning guns, that does nothing to protect the people. You're actually putting the people more in harm's way than you were before that. Because now it's just the criminals that are going to have the guns out in public. Oh, that's a great idea. Like, get the hell out of here, guys. I mean, this is ridiculous. So we're going to watch this little clip and it's on Twitter, or X as we now call it. And this is of her little press conference that she did. It's only 1 minute and 45 seconds, but it really just shows you the craziness of like just her thinking. Calling it a public health emergency is nuts. And then after we watch this, we're going to go into the numbers on how much gun deaths they have in New Mexico and really what the numbers look like. All right. But let's watch this, see what we got.
Yeah. But your point is valid.
You took an oath to the Constitution. Isn't it unconstitutional to say you cannot exercise your carrying license?
With one exception, and that is if there's an emergency, and I've declared an emergency for a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. There are restrictions on free speech. There are restrictions on my freedoms. In this emergency, this 11-year-old and all these parents who have lost all these children, they deserve my attention to have the debate about whether or not in an emergency we can create a safer environment. Because what about their constitutional rights? I took an oath to uphold those too. And if we ignore this growing problem without being bold, I've said to every other New Mexican, your rights are subrogated to theirs. And they are not, in my view.
Wait a minute. Okay. You're talking about crimes. There are already laws against the crimes, so how are their rights?
I got it. But again, if I'm unsafe, who's standing up for that right? If this climate is so out of control, somebody should do something. I'm doing as much as I know to do.
Madam Governor, do you really think that criminals are going to hear this message and not carry a gun in Albuquerque on the streets for 30 days?
No. But here's what I do think. It's a pretty resounding message.
Whoops. Sorry, guys. But she's out of her mind, okay? This lady is completely out of her mind. What does she think? That putting a 30-day gun ban is actually going to stop criminals from having guns out in public? She even said no. So what is the gun ban going to do? Nothing. It's going to make your actual law-abiding citizens not able to protect themselves out in public. Guys, it is so idiotic. There's no logic. There's no common sense involved. It's just crazy authoritarian control over the population for I don't know what reason. It is absolutely nuts. So we're going to go into the stats here. All right. And we have this. This is a little breakdown from everystat.org where they really track this down. Gun violence in New Mexico. In an average year, 492 people die and 618 are wounded by guns in New Mexico. New Mexico has the 11th highest rate of gun violence in the U.S. Okay, guys. So she is saying right now, okay, she is saying that this is such an epidemic of gun violence in her state that she needed to call a public health emergency on this, okay, for 492 deaths from guns. 492. And let's look at this. Gun deaths over time. Nope. Where is it? Right here. Gun deaths by intent. In New Mexico, 60% of gun deaths are suicides and 34% are homicides. So let's do the math, guys, because we have to do the math on this. Okay. 492 total gun deaths. Okay. And then you times that by 60%. That means they have 295 of the 492 deaths are caused by suicide. It's not even random shootings, random acts of violence. These are suicides, guys. Okay. The person's putting the gun on themselves. More than 60% are because of that. And you're going to call a public health emergency, an epidemic of gun violence off this? Because let's also look this up, because I didn't even look this up first, but let's look this up. Let me see here. How many people live, in New Mexico? Boom. As of 2021, let's just do 2023. Be accurate. They have 2.1 million residents. Guys, they have 2.1 million residents. Like, I don't understand the logic. Someone please ask me or tell me how this makes any type of sense. Okay? So, they have 2.1 mil. I don't even think my calculator can go that high. Boom, 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 boom. 3. Nope, too many. 20,000, 200,000. Bam. Okay, 2 million. I mean, guys, it's not even I don't even really want to mess with this because it's not even going to be accurate. I mean, it's so low of a number. It's so low of a number, guys. I mean, it's like 0.00000 something. I mean, you cannot restrict the rights of your citizens when you have 2.1 million people in your state, and you're going to ban guns because of a total of 492 total gun deaths in a year, and over 60% are suicides. You're out of your mind. You're absolutely out of your mind. And I'm really glad to see that a lot of people in New Mexico are really standing up for themselves and telling the governor, like, this is absolute BS and we are not going to stand for it. We know we have constitutional rights. And I feel like the average person really needs to wake up. They're trying to do this everywhere, especially in blue states. They're really trying to ban guns everywhere they can. And that's what's kept us free. And that's really what worries me is if our government is trying to take away our right to own guns, they're trying to go for total control over the population. It's the only way that you can really have an authoritarian control over the population is if you disarm them. And history shows if you disarm the population, the country goes downhill very, very quickly into an authoritarian controlled state. It is what it is, guys. So we really need to protect our First Amendment and our Second Amendment to the death. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying go out here and kill people. Okay. But we really need to be strong when it comes to this. So I hope you guys like the content. Definitely, this was a cool topic. I just couldn't believe the governor decided to do this, but we need to all stand up for each other and protect our rights. All right, guys. But hey, have a great day. Have a good start to your week. Stay blessed out there, and I'll see you on the next video.